Hi everyone, in this recording I would like to speak about a really strong aspect that is ongoing in the present moment. And this is how astrology is like. The predictive part is one thing, but when you're living it, the aspect speaks to you. It really presents itself to you because it's lived. So you understand it 10 times more deeply than when you were at the predictive stage. So this is an update that I would like to add because ultimately I'm living it. But the other thing which I would like to say is, well, I have an old and really outdated attempt of tarot course that is in my possession. It is my work, but it was destined for another website which didn't get online. But I could share it with you guys. It's about my version, mystical version of all of the 22nd major arcana. So it's a bit incomplete, the course part, but it includes both of the 22nd major arcana. And if anyone was interested, until I can make a better one, if I get to it, because we are living very uncertain times and we don't know what will happen tomorrow. So that's why I want to also publish it. Maybe someone's actually interested in just listening and updating or adding or just a second opinion of what they know about each major arcana. So now let's get to the astrology part, because today I have to speak about Mercury and Mars square, but this is where it's also the post-eclipse version. Now, this is really interesting because I mentioned the Algol aspect, Mercury being on Algol and Saturn squaring it, so it activates it that much more. But also, this Mercury activates the lunar eclipse because it's around that degree, next to that degree. And this is where the lesson is sinking in, and this is like the ultimate and final reverberation, and perhaps the most transformative part of the karmic energy of both this Mercury retrograde season and the karmic, the deeper spiritual meaning of the eclipse energy as well. So this is where all of us knew that Algol was going to be activated, and personally speaking, individually in our own spiritual path, so to speak, we are going to be seeing our Medusa one way or another, our ugliness, our incompetence, the head of all the problems in our lives, the head of Medusa. So, of course, that I would dare say that without a shadow of a doubt, it played out one way or another for a lot of us. But this is where the hardest part of this is where we were invited not to battle her, because one way or another she was already defeated. We are already, if we necessarily dare have faith and optimism and dare to say that we're already on the back of Pegasus riding towards our dreams, that Andromeda is actually can consider herself already freed and married and happy and all of that. But that's just Jupiter. Jupiter promises a lot. But at the same time, we have to understand why Medusa became Medusa. Is that not the act of ultimate compassion? Because Saturn in Aquarius says, well, okay, the Aquarian age, and I have to prepare you guys and all of that. And this is for more the mind and the mindset. But the mind has to have a lot of heart in it, because if not, it's bad. It's really bad and dangerous and deadly. We saw this, what science can do, how it can really wipe out people easily. We must not permit that, but that's another question raised by Saturn exactly now, with diseases and all of that. But the other thing is, well, we have to show compassion to anything, to everything. Isn't that what true human interconnectedness truly means? The ideal of Aquarius. And now we have to understand Medusa, why she became Medusa. And this is the hardest part, because this Mercury retrograde and Saturn standing still in the sky. Mercury is standing still in this. Both of these planets are standing still almost in the sky. Saturn preparing to go backwards, Mercury preparing to go forward. And this slowing down, this slow dance, this is where Mercury doesn't back off. Mercury is usually the one who backs off immediately from a square. This time, no, Mercury faces Saturn. Mercury says to Saturn, look man, I am ready finally to understand why. And Saturn says, okay, then take Medusa's ghost, because she is a ghost. She's a memory, she's a revenant, because she was slain in 2021 one way or another, otherwise you would be in the loony bin. I mean, sorry, this is like a slang, the lunatic asylum, if that Medusa would have won the battle in 2021. So maybe some people got there, that's why they're not listening to this horoscope, but a lot of us are not there, and we should be grateful for that. But now we have to listen to how she became. She's taking our hand and got, almost like the ghost of Christmas past. That's what's happening right now. Medusa taking us back. And this is the hardest part. Why? Because Pluto trine. Pluto, what is Pluto showing us? One way, or at least part of us, was totally innocent. And so Medusa did not deserve to become Medusa. Even in the legend, she was a maiden. She did what she was supposed to do to the very end. But how can she battle a god? So this aspect is extremely painful right now to rape victims. This is where the soul just screams from your body. Be in 5D as spiritual as you, at peace with the cosmos. But you feel it. And this is where, if you're smart, you allow it. And you allow Medusa to say it, and you comfort her, and you actually tell her that, girl, congrats for everyone, you turned into stone actually, because yeah. And you know what turns you into stone? It's not her ugliness, it's the innocence of her. Because how do you turn into stone? It's against your logic, and it's even against your belief. Then it's impossible, and you stop. Your mind stops. Mercury stops. It stops in the sky. So all of our Mercuries do stop. So your mind is blown. This is when something so real that you can't even believe it is happening, and it's happening, and you're living it. And Mercury but so Saturn as well. Saturn can be seen inward, turning inwards there. Everything we thought and knew, the way we thought life, existence, the world, everything was before is being shattered, was shattered, but now we're actually seeing the new, that which is real or remained. So this is, imagine, I'm philosophizing with this, but put it into context if someone lives this professionally. Oh, I'm living this professionally. So imagine if someone's living it, I don't know, in their marriage. Like they love their partner infinitely with every fiber of their beings, but maybe sexually they can be with them. Imagine the pain. Imagine the guilt, the shame, the pain, the impossible, the Medusa. And that's also sacred, because it's the sacrifice both partners must make to live together. And stuff like that. This is just an example, but this is where I'm sure that there is at least one viewer out there who lives this in this way. This is where they question. I love him and he's good to me, but, the guilt, do you leave, do you stay, what's right, what's wrong? You don't know the answer. The mystic, the astrologer, can only help you a tiny bit, but they cannot give you the final yes or no. The divine only says listen to your heart. Your heart says I don't even want to listen to anyone. This is the good spice and pepper. And what do? We can't fight Medusa now, because we see her as the innocent maiden, as the temple priestess that she was, the sacred purpose, no one protected her. Then what do? If we have forgiveness, then it is not Medusa who we have to forgive now, but her aggressors, the divine. But the divine will immediately excuse itself in 10 infinite quantum ways, and then you find that it's no one's fault, and then you turn to stone. Because it's no one's fault. You see the good in everything, in even the bad, and then the victim is dead already, because when you see the good in it, the victim is no more. You're not a victim anymore. Neither you're heartbroken anonymous anymore, because you see the good in it, but neither can you accept it. So this is the Algolian expression of this energy. This is what Algol is really, really good at. And ultimately what Algol is doing, it doesn't want to ruin your life. It stares at the divine, provoking it to find the solution to the impossible. So trying to Pluto, ultimately Algol is beneficial because it's provoking a miracle. Either good or bad, it will be a miracle. It's a miracle. Whatever happens now is a miracle. The harder this energy is affecting you, the more miraculous the resolution is going to be. If it's affecting your career, then very soon you will know what your heart truly wants, and that will guide you to where you need to be. But if this is on other levels, then wow, then this is deep for everyone. Deep is the keyword here. 27 degrees of Taurus is the depths of Taurus. That can be seen if Taurus is the living earth. Well, that is where we reach the magnetic core of the everything, the core of the earth. This is the very essence that basically keeps our world in existence. And if that is in cosmology or geology, sorry, that's it. See how Mercury retrograde kind of acts immediately. So yeah, there is spiritually the same expression, the very nature of who it is that we are, and that goes beyond human, that goes beyond lifetime, that go to the core, that basically goes to the core, and it's not an easy energy. So what can we do right now? Well, compassion. This is where ultimately Taurus is the sign of Venus. That means everything is susceptible to love. The very constant of the universe that Taurus is the ruling planet, Venus is the ruling planet of Taurus, well, this kind of makes sure that love is the supreme power. Because this was how everything was created. This is like the fail-safe mechanism that is always going to be triggered in any circumstance. So maybe this is where we kind of know that we are safe. This is where we know in our hearts that there is divine protection at work in a very close and real sense right now in the world. Because Venus is the queen of all of... Venus has Algol at her feet. So Algol ultimately plays Venus's game always. Algol, regardless of what his energy is madly in love with Venus. You know, he wants to be her servant, so she uses his Medusa expression to do good ultimately. She uses it for love, she uses it to heal hearts, she uses it for a lot of things. She uses it to teach healers and wise women, medicine women, because Taurus is also the divine feminine, how to be their most powerful and pure and sacred and non-judgmental selves, to love everyone. There is a sacred practice of exorcism, but only used in very, very restricted communities and very few places in the world, where it is not the priests performing the exorcism the way we know it, the way we expect it, the way we're familiar to it, but nuns. And these nuns just hug the possessed, and the demon entity, inner energy, whatever it is that pains them, troubles them, finds forgiveness and love for itself, because the nun channels the sacred energy of the mother, and nothing can stand against that, not bow to its love, if you know what I mean. So this is the most sacred expression of this energy and exorcism, because it doesn't exorcise the demon, it heals it. It becomes a pure spirit, and it just bye. Both the victim and the demon, or whatever that is, end up in an elation. So, and for the victim, that's not a big deal, but for the spirit, whatever that is, well, it becomes something clean in a unexpected way. So maybe the nun is the spider who catches the evil spirit in her web and heals him, loves him to its original divine design. So this is what is happening to all of us one way or another right now. We're caught in this game of healing, in this web, in this psychological game, but it is the divine who is playing, not really us. So things are happening, healing is taking place, the divine feminine is entering in their most pure power, and what the divine feminine is really good at convince others to forgive. In my culture, Hungarian culture, this is where we have a saying that if you want to convince the devil to do something, as in your favor, for free, even a benevolent act, convince his mother, and the mother will convince the devil to help you. Even to save lives, even to do the most miraculous work, convince his mother, and he helps you. The mother, the sacred feminine, everything has a mother. So the mother can convince peace and benevolence, the opposite as well. But this is where even the opposite, Black Moon Lilith, the shadow of the moon, well, this is where she is in the sign of Cancer and she conjuncts Ceres. This is where even she is pacified and has to do the right thing. Because Black Moon Lilith births venomous children who are meant to spit venom and poison onto the rich and powerful, really, because she wants to destroy them. That's who she hates. She hates the patriarchs always. She defends the underdogs, but in a way no one is thankful, so to speak. So even her expression is a bit different right now. So this is a strong activation portal for the divine feminine, and at the same time the divine masculine, how should I say, is caressed almost. Because, the dual, the two elements, well, they suffer the same fate. So if one is opening themselves like a flower and nurturing and becoming their most pure selves, the other one benefits passively, that they become their most gentle and loving and beautiful, harmonious, attractive selves as well. Because, the flower needs someone gentle and truly appreciative to sniff them and take photos and write poetry and tell the universe even how beautiful their creation is. It's the romantic vibe. And don't forget that Venus was heavily charged by Jupiter and Neptune in exaltation. So this cycle of Venus is different than any other you ever lived in your lifetime. So this is where she can be her most romantic self. This is where she can do anything really. So this is why, even if you're going through really strong hardship energy with this alcohol, when you just break down totally, trust, because there is a loving game to this. You're actually being loved by your creator, and wherever you end up going, that is your place of healing. Yes, so this is actually a really, really benevolent madness in the universe's method and methodology, so to speak. Ultimately, this is a purging and healing energy. But as I said, if we want to heal this in all timelines, if we want even reminiscence, shards of our souls which were shattered then, to find forgiveness, peace, and the same joy that we can choose ultimately, will be able to choose very soon, then we have to heal the past like this. We have to give this Medusa a compassion. And if you go to Nadia Shah's channel, there is a brilliant astrologer, guest astrologer there, who I really recommend to listen to her take on this energy. She is like hardcore. You will not regret following you will come back and say thank you so much Zen, because she is so yes. And what else do I want to say? Ultimately, the cure and everything else is also, as written in the sky. Jupiter is meeting Mars right now, and that means that we need to believe. There's no other choice but to believe blindly. If we have to do this. Like, we have to pull through this strange period, because there is a lot of work ahead of us, or a lot of rest and recuperation for other people. But either way, you have to be there and do it. Because if your job is to rest and heal, then you rest and heal. Then you don't do all the other stuff on the list the second day. No, you rest and heal. But this is where you can't break this promise. When you rest and heal, you rest all day long. You do nothing if that is all day long. If dream all day long, do whatever heals you all day long, but do it all day long. If it is work that you need to do, then you have to be serious about the standard. The standard being, don't compromise yourself. The soul has to be present in your work, whatever it is that you are doing. Even if it's in a factory, I don't know, embody that somehow. There is spirituality in that as well. When you do this on an autopilot, your spirit is somewhere else, so that's ultimately beneficial in certain ways. So just weave soul into whatever it is that you do, even if it's nothing that you do. This is where everything has meaning. And this is a very intense period, a very intense week, so a lot will happen right now. So thank you so much for listening. Until next time, bye for now.